Welcome back, everybody, to Warhammer Weekend Times. I'm your host, Stan, and today I've got a free-for-all 4-player battle for y'all. I am going to be playing as the Dark Elves, and this is pretty much just the basically a scenario from the Warhammer 2 trailer. We've got all the factions from the new game present. Anyway, guys, I've got about 4 units of Bleak Swords in front, about 4 units of Dread Spears. I've also got some some Blackguard of Nagarond, some Black Art Corsairs. I've got a unit of Witch Elves, which do cause fear, about 4 units of Dark Shards, which is really a fearsome amount of Dark Shards to bring, 3 units of Dark Riders, and then 1 unit of Cold One Knights. Over here, we've got Gojira from Gojira Gaming playing as the Lizardmen. He's got about 3 units of Skink Cohort in front, about 4 units of Sauruses as well, 3 units of Temple Guard, which are now immune to being stun-locked. That really adds a new mechanic to them and gives them kind of a new, just offensive utility role. He's got 2 units of Kroxigors, 1 on each flank. Over here in the back, he's got, he's got 2 units? Yeah, 2 units of Skink Archers, 3 units of Cold One Cav, a unit of Saurus Scar Veteran, and then over here he has an Engine of the Gods unit. Now, on huge scaling, you do get 2. Typically, on everything else, you only get 1, which is a lot more balanced in my opinion, and I think probably large is the most balanced scaling to probably play Call of Warhammer on, but that's just my opinion. Over here we have Uric Lothbrok playing as the High Elves. He has a few units of Silverhelm. He's got 3 in total, 1 over here, 1 way over at the kind of this cemetery / university building, and 1 kind of strategically positioned way over here, kind of in the flank where he can get at Gojira if he really wants to. So he's got 3 of those Silverhelms, and he's got about 2 Dragon Princes of Kalidor. I believe he's got 2 units of Sword Masters of Hoeth, 5 units of High Elf Spears. He's got 2 units of High Elf Archers, 2 units of Lothar and Sea Guard. He's also got, I mentioned these guys. I mentioned those Sword Masters. They tried to sneak in again. I've got a unit of Phoenix Guard. Uric Lothbrok has a unit of Phoenix Guard. He's also got a unit of White Lions, and I think that's going to be his whole army. He's bringing in some good offensive elite infantry. He's bringing in a lot of spears, not a whole lot of archers. Over here for Warbade the Toughest Army, also known as Wah from Wah Gaming. He's got a bunch of Skaven Slaves. I think he's got about 3 units of Skaven Slaves. He's got about 2 units of Warplock Jezzails, a whole bunch of Clan Rats as well. He's got some Warp Fire Throwers, I think about 1 unit of those. He's got some Rat Ogres, 2 units of Storm Vermin, a unit of Warp Lightning Cannon. In the back, he's got a unit of Albino Guard, a unit of Screaming Bell, and then over here on this right flank, he's got some Plague Sensor Bears and some Gutter Runners. So that is going to be his army, guys. He's bringing in some pretty devastating weapon teams, and he is bringing in that scary Warp Lightning Cannon. And I believe that should be all of the armies, guys. Let's go ahead and now go full speed and watch these armies clash. This is one of those free-for-alls where everybody gets in on the action and everybody's just fighting everybody, and that's kind of how you want them to go. A lot of the time, you'll have kind of these little individual 1v1s, and one player will have usually a significant amount of reserves left over, so that kind of goes that way. I got my Dark Shards, however, really in range pretty quickly over here. I'm going to fire into these Skink Cohorts and into these Kroxigors. Gojira is beginning to push his whole army up. I think his Skink Cohorts are in range to start throwing their Javelins. Over on this flank, he is moving his Kroxigors up, but Uric Lothbrok is turning in turn his Silverhelms, and they are going to charge into those Kroxigors, but the Kroxigors are going to make short work of them in melee combat. The Saurus Scar Veteran are going to be charging over here. I guess they're not really charging. They kind of just meandering on over here. But the Cold One Cav behind them is going to be charging in. They're going to kind of clip these White Lions as they come through here and do a little bit of damage to the High Elf Spears. Now, the High Elf Spears are in spear wall formation, so I think they've got more mass, and they hold kind of a much tighter formation. Over here, the Engine of the Gods is going to get a really nice shot into these High Elf Spears, and then another shot narrowly missing the High Elf Archers. That was really close, honestly. He's in a perfect position for the Lizardmen to get some amazing sniper shots off with that Engine of the Gods. Another one coming in, kind of clipping these High Elf Archers as well. But they are lined up right over here. Looks like, that's what I'm talking about, guys. A really nice shot coming in here, and he's probably going to have another one coming in not long after that. But you can kind of see Uric Lothbrok is moving around his Silverhelms pretty liberally, running over these Skink Cohorts and kind of pushing them out. Over on my side of the engagement, I am having to deal with some of these Sauruses and Skink Cohorts as well. With my Bleak Swords. Looks like some of the Temple Guard are moving up behind them, but I am getting my Cold One Knights in position. for a juicy charge, but I'm going to turn them over here, and I'm going to, I think I'm going to, charge into the side of the Sauruses, just really hammer their flank. You can see some of these Warplock Jezzails are going to be firing in, however, I think he's going to be firing in over at these Temple Guard. Let's look at the engagement over with Skaven. They are going to be holding me pretty much away from their important units with these slaves. Looks like my Black Ark Corsairs are going to be routing. I don't think he's got his Warfire Throwers in position now. They should start firing at any moment into my line, and here they go. Oh, no, just kidding. They decided not to. They decided it wasn't in their best interests, so they're going to kind of retract a little bit. Looks like he's going to get some shots off, however, with these Warplock Jezzails, but they are going to get in range of the High Elf Archers, and Archers can deal with Jezzails pretty effectively. I think Archers might outrange them, I'm not sure. Jezzails certainly act more like a sniper unit, however, as they're going to kind of fire in and hit some of my Cold One Knights. I'm going to charge in, however, into the sides of these Lothern Sea Guard and into the sides of some of these Temple Guard and these Sauruses. I'm going to get some nice shots off with my Dark Shards as well. It looks like that's going to rout the Lizardmen from that engagement. They're going to kind of push out. I'm going to come in again with my Cold One Knights, hopefully get another good charge into this blob of infantry. These Sauruses are going to take a really nasty charge. He didn't bring any Saurus Spears, which honestly, they're not that great against cavalry, but spearmen do, they make a difference when you're fighting against them. It looks like the Edge of the Gods is actually getting some nice point-blank shots in here as well against some of these Silver Helms. That is going to cause them to get shaken, but they're going to come in and get a nice charge against these Temple Guard. Gojira's really getting hit hard by a lot of our cavalry. I'm going to move up my Dark Riders into melee. They're really not a very good melee unit. They rout really, really easy when you get them into melee if they get tired or they get outnumbered, but in a big mass like this, they can do a pretty good amount of damage, especially just lower tier units like Skinks. I'm really not going to have too much of an issue pushing them out of the field over there. Over here, the Warp Fire Throwers are going to absolutely just shred my Dark Shard units. Look at this, volley after volley coming in, just killing a Dark Shard unit or Dark Shard soldier, or whatever you want to call it. As they fire in, they're just going to be just burning that unit alive. I'm going to lose them pretty quick. Those Dark Shards are falling. They're going down from 90 to 84. I think they start off with like 125 in a unit. I think I'm going to try and reallocate some of my Dark Shard fire. Looks like I'm actually going to target some of these Dragon Princes. Is that what's going on? I guess that's what's going on. Looks like Yorick Lothbrok is moving his Dragon Princess Kalidor kind of around onto my flank. I was kind of uncomfortable with that. I'm going to move in some of my Dark Riders also over here, route those Lizardmen off the field. Looks like my Witch Elves of Cain are also going to be starting to move in as well and do a little bit of damage to these Dragon Princes of Kalidor. They're actually going to pick those Dragon Princes off pretty well, or pretty effectively. They're just now shaken. I don't know if they're going to hold for that much longer if they take a lot more of this Dark Shard fire. I've reallocated my Dark Shards fire, their fire over into these Warp Fire Throwers because honestly, they're going to just destroy my key units that I had. I'm losing a lot of my infantry. A lot of my Black Guard are still over here fighting against some of these Clan Rats and Storm Vermin. They're going to do a really good job at just shredding through that Skaven infantry. I have lost a unit of Dark Riders over here. And we survey the battlefield, we can see it's just really chaotic. There's stuff going on everywhere. It looks like Yorick Lothbrok's actually kind of pulled ahead in his engagement just a little bit. And I think he's kind of lost micro on some of his units. Looks like I'm going to actually take a shot from the Engine of the Gods, and that is going to almost rout some of my Dark Shards. Looks like he's going to reallocate his fire over to kind of this X that Yorick Lothbrok has going on over here. And this is an ideal target for the Engine of the Gods. Kind of a laned up, target where they can get a lot of that kind of piercing ammunition to fire in. And he's just firing shot after shot into the sides of these guys. I'm going to move my Dark Riders up. I don't know if I intentionally meant to charge them over here, or if that's just the skirmish mode being a little bit wonky, but it does look like Yorick Lothbrok is going to move in some of his Silver Helms and some of the Swordmasters of Hoeth into melee. Over here we got some of the Kroxigors charging in against some of my units. My Dread Spears are going to be shaken. They're tired. I've noticed the Dark Elf kind of basic infantry really doesn't have that great of morale. They do rout pretty effectively when under a lot of pressure, but it looks... Oh man, over here we got a good shot coming in from the Warp Lightning Cannon and from the Engine of the Gods, kind of in succession of each other. I'm going to move my Cold One Knights in. This is actually not a good place for them to be, especially after those High Elves over there are taking so much fire, but it does look like the Engine of the Gods have reallocated his target over here to some of these High Elf Spears, which are... While they're at Spear Wall, they walk, and that's not what you want to do when the Engine of the Gods is like point blank shooting at you. You want to get in, you want to interrupt his fire. But right now, this Engine of the Gods unit is honestly probably the strongest unit on the field. They honestly, They operate a lot like a steam tank. If you've used the steam tank a lot for Empire, they are a lot more reactive and quicker because they're giant red dinosaurs, but they tend to get the job done pretty well. But they are an elephant unit, so they act a lot like a steam tank. They kind of are a little clunky once they get into melee, but they can do a really good job. But he is just roasting them. It looks like Yurk is trying to take them out with some of those High Elf archers. It takes a lot of archer fire to take out 2 Engine of the Gods. So that's going to be really tough to push through. I do have some Witch Elves of Cain over here. I don't think my micro is on them. I think I have been maybe moving around some of my Dark Shards, trying to get them to fire at some more important units. It does look like Gojira's Kroxigors are still alive. I'm a little intimidated by those multiple HP units. Dark Shards are still armor piercing. I think a lot of crossbows lost their armor piercing trait in this update, but Dark Shards still are, so they kind of hold that nice unit niche of being able to kill big, hefty, multiple HP units since they ignore armor. Looks like some really long-range shots coming in from those Engine of the Gods. Look how far away they are. Look at how far away they are, and they're taking out some of my Black Art of Naggarond from that far away. I'm going to charge in some of my Dark Riders. This is not the best move in retrospect, especially with these Skink Archers over here. The Skink Archers do have really low damage, but kind of the point I want to make about them is even if they do low damage, if you have low armor in a certain unit, they're still going to shred it. Like my Dark Riders, they do not have the best armor. They don't have shields either, so they don't get a shield block chance for their for receiving ranged fire or any kind of skirmisher fire. So they are very vulnerable to that. Same thing with like the Witch Elves or Kroxigors or any unit that doesn't field any kind of shield and has maybe less than adequate armor. They're going to have a little bit of a hard time against skirmisher fire. So the High Elf Spears are going to be doing a little bit of damage over here to Kroxigors. I'm pretty sure Kroxigors are still stun lockable. Only a few units receive the stun lock or anti-stun lock trait, which it's Khorne Chosen, Temple Guard, all Slayers on the dwarves, and certain giant units like Minotaurs and other major units like that you know simulate kind of the Minotaur niche unit that it you know fulfills. I've got the Witch Elves of Cain over here doing a little bit of damage to these Engine of the Gods, and in comes the Warp Lightning Cannon. That's going to do a little bit of damage to them. I don't think that they bloodied them at all, though. My Witch Elves are doing a little bit of damage. I don't know if Witch Elves are armor piercing or not. I'd have to check. A lot of units were armor piercing, and it's kind of become a real, you know, small. I don't know what word I'm trying to think of. A rare stat now. It's a real rare stat. Looks like Eric Lothbrok might be trying to make his Dragon Prince's move, but I'm not sure if they're just not doing it, or I don't know what they're doing. Now they're moving. His Dragon Princes are now moving. His, oh man! One of the Engine of the Gods is going to go down to my Witch Elves, and maybe the combined fire from the Skink Archers. I don't know if that did enough friendly fire to actually kill that Engine of the Gods. I'm not sure which unit got the kill there. One of the Witch Elves is chasing after the big lizard, and Gojira after that has decided to pull him out a little bit. Let's take a look and see what the Skaven's doing over here, because he still has a lot of units. Waz still got the Screaming Bell, which I think have a locked morale. I'm not sure if they are routable or not. I know Albino Guard are not routable, and they are going to be fighting against these Phoenix Guard, who are going to be sandwiched between them and the Rat Ogres. Rat Ogres are also one of the units that received the anti-stun lock trait. I'm really not sure how that operates, or if it's a special trait they give it, or if it's just an animation that they just don't do the animation when they get hit. And like he did a little block right there, but they won't like reel back when they take a hit. They won't get actually stun locked, which is nice. It changed the dynamic of the game a lot. And here we go, the Engine of the Gods, the last Engine of the Gods, is going to get taken out by a Warp Lightning Cannon. That is going to rout my Dark Shards, however. I don't think my Witch Elves of Cain can rout, and they are going to continue to charge into the engagement. I really don't have much at this point. I've got a few Black Art of Naggarond. I think I have like a handful of Dark Shards somewhere on the field. I think like a total of like 13, and I think one of them's like 7 in a unit, and the other one's like 4 or something, even though that doesn't add up to 13. But you guys get my point. I don't really have enough on the field to do too much. It does look like Gojira's Kroxigors are routing with 9 left in the unit. That's pretty bad. Those Kroxigors would have been really instrumental in taking out these Rat Ogres, which are almost untouched. They have 17 left in the unit, and I think they started out with 18. They probably lost a lot of HP throughout the game. But they are a really imposing force on the battlefield right now. Yorick Lothbrok does have his High Elf archers over here still trying to fire in. I think these over here might be out of ammo. I'm going to take this opportunity to kind of strike at him. I'm going to move my Dark Riders in. They are exhausted. Like I said, guys, they have really trash morale once they get into melee. They are not going to lose morale, and it may be that these High Elf archers just aren't enough to shake them. Oh, actually, no, yep, they're going to be shaken. There you go, guys. That's a good example of kind of what I was talking about. Even though these are archer units, which are really terrible in melee units, they are going to get shaken and actually waver from that. I'm not sure if that's because the Skaven unit's moving in as well, but they're going to break right there. I have 19 left. They might come back a little bit later. We'll have to see what they decide to do. I'm going to move up some of my Bleak Swords. I've only got 22 left in this unit. It looks like there's not a lot left, guys. There's Warbane's units or Waz units, his Rat Ogres. Looks like he might have just a few left on the Warp Lightning Cannon. He can still probably operate it. So long as he only has, like, I think he only needs about 3 Skaven units, or three crewmen to operate the Warp Lightning Cannon. I'm going to move my Bleak Swords up. They are going to get shaken. I don't know if it has... I don't think the Screaming Bell does do morale damage to opposing units. It might just be the Rat Ogres. I do know that they do cause terror. Or at least I'm 95% sure they do that, you know. And everything is subject to change, guys, between now and the patch. Although I think that's something that's probably going to remain the same, is these kind of, you know, smaller in number giant monster units causing fear. It does look like Yorick Lothbrok's High Elf archers are... I'm not sure what they're... yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I know if they're chasing my Dark Riders that are left over here that have come back. I need to be really careful with these guys and use them at the right moments, because if I don't, I'm going to lose them again like I did earlier. And this is the classic example of not the right moment. I don't know what I was thinking in this game, but they're just going to just wheel right back in to those Rat Ogres and just get slaughtered. And as they pull out, they're going to kind of waver. And are they going to break? Nope, they're going to get their morale back a little bit. They're going to go from wavering to shaken. I might hold on to these guys just a little bit longer this game. I do have... Oh, man, here we go. Another shot coming in from that Warp Lightning Cannon. I don't think he's going to get any kills in that shot, though. Oh, no, I take that back. He got a nice kind of arcing fire through some of the High Elf archers. And that is going to do a little bit of damage to them. Not a ton, though. It's going to be kind of negligible. But I think it just kind of represents that if he gets a good shot in here, he can wipe out this entire unit of High Elf archers, or at least rout them, which would be ideal. They're going to start firing in to these Rat Ogres. I do still have my Dark Riders. Shaken, not stirred. And they're going to still be on the field just for a little while longer, guys. I do have my Dark Shards over here, or like my 4 Dark Shards, like I was saying earlier. Not a lot left, and I think if they're going to take a few shots in here at the High Elf Archers, as the game is kind of changing, I've realized I don't really have a chance of winning. I do have a chance, though, to maybe turn the tide a little bit. I'm going to be kind of taking turns of firing into these Rat Ogres, kind of doing a little bit of damage to these high HP units, since my Dark Shards are armor-piercing. But I think this unit of High Elf Archers are going to rout over here. That's going to free up Waz Rat Ogres. And, yeah, I do have 1 Witch Elf of Cain unit over here. I'm sorry, guys, two Witch Elves of Cain. They're going to be screaming. I don't think they're going to be doing enough, though, to actually have any kind of impact on morale. Although I might be wrong, because it does look like as these High Elf Spears move in, they are wavering. The Rat Ogres are moving in again. And they're moving right through my Dark Shards. I don't think that's their target. I think they're just kind of moving towards the High Elves. And this is going to be it, guys. It's going to be kind of a big push between what is left of the High Elves. My Dark Riders are routing off a field. I think I might have, yeah, my 1 Dark Shard who is also routing. He's going to get out of here or get kind of pushed off the field. Looks like Yorick Lothbrok has a couple units of white, or a few White Lions left, just as High Elf Spears. I do have, way out on the other side of the battlefield, I think I have a unit of Bleak Swords that either are routing or have come back. And I failed to notice them. I noticed them pretty soon. I start running them in as soon as I do. Excuse me, guys. But they are going to kind of come late to the party. But it does look like the Rat Ogres are just going to be tearing through some of these High Elves, and that's what we're going to get to see for the next minute or so, is just these monsters kind of ripping into these really lightly armored, kind of weaker melee units for the High Elf. Excuse me, guys. Apologize for coughing so late in the replay. But the High Elf Archers are going to be fighting, as well as the Lothern Sea Guard. Now, Lothern Sea Guard have a really fast attack animation. I just want you guys to watch this dude, like, stab in at the Rat Ogres. Like, look at how quickly some of these guys are stabbing. And they're kind of, like, bashing with their shields. They're hitting the Rat Ogres. The good thing the Rat Ogres are immune to Stunlock, because right now, that would be it for them. They would absolutely not get any kills at all if they could be Stunlocked. They would just wither away on that unit. It's really easy to Stunlock certain larger units like this, especially if you get them isolated in a unit, but, you know, with this new trait, it's gonna change the dynamic of some units. The big units, I think, though, like ogres are still stun-lockable. I think, like I showed you earlier, I'm pretty sure Croxigars are still stun-lockable. I don't know if that's subject to change, however. They may increase in price if they get a change like that, though, because it's a pretty big deal, guys. Not being stun-locked, it makes a large difference. We were doing some testing earlier. Some folks in the Discord, and they actually found out Khorne Chosen, who are one of those units who receive that anti-stunlock trait, can now beat Nurgle Chosen in a one-on-one fight, which is a big deal. Nurgle Chosen are one of the tankiest units, or one of the tankiest infantry units for Chaos. They've got 2 HP, they're shielded, they're really high defense, and they're able to take out a single HP unit. And, I'm sorry, guys, it's the other way around. A single HP unit is able to take them out, so that really kind of shows that those Berserker units are pretty rough, or those anti-Stunlock units are pretty rough. Looks like there's only one Rat Ogre left in the engagement, though, and it doesn't look too good for him. They've done a little bit of damage to the High Elves while they've been engaged, but it's not been very much. I think that last Rat Ogre is going to go down there, and my Bleak Swords have almost made it to the engagement, and this is going to be the classic rivalry, Dark Elves versus High Elves. I did feel kind of bad about actually having this unit left over for so long. I felt like I should have noticed maybe a little sooner that he had come back. I'm not quite sure when he had come back, but Yorick Lothbrok is going to get the charge off with his High Elf Archers. I'm going to get the charge at the last minute. Looks like a few of them are going to kind of jump as they charge in and kind of stab as they do it. And yeah, they're going to be tearing through these High Elf Archers. Going to get a nice little kill animation right there against that High Elf Archer. It looks like Yorick Lothbrok is going to be very quick to move his White Lions around, try and flank me and do a little bit of damage. I do have my Bleak Swords in shield wall formation, so they're going to hold tight in a formation, although they're kind of splayed out just a little bit. Usually in shield wall formation, they're just as close as they can be, but these White Lions coming in the back like this is going to spell the doom for me. I really don't think, even if he didn't flank around with these White Lions, I don't think I could have probably taken all of these High Elves. The Lothern Seaguard with their really fast attack animation would be seriously problematic. I mean, oh man, here we go. Another dude dying. He's gonna get carved up by that Bleak Sword right there. Looks like some of these White Lions are also getting taken out a little bit too. One of these Bleak Swords over here is kind of getting double teamed by this High Elf Archer and this Lothern Seaguard. Look at this Lothern Seaguard go. He's got a pretty quick attack animation. Yeah, look at him go. He's having a good time. But my Bleak Swords, it's not looking good for them. I got 27 left. I think it started with 36. So it's going. The High Elf Spears aren't too happy about the engagement either. The victory is a possibility. Balance of forces is evenly matched, so it's kind of teetering. Definitely a bit in their favor, I would argue. My Bleak Swords are wavering now, and that's going to be bad. If I lose my Bleak Swords, you know, that's obviously the game. But having your unit kind of just hang on like a just by a thread is never fun. But it does look like it's going to be a really close engagement over here. Looks like one of these, yeah, they're just getting stun locked. They're just getting stun locked. It's rough. It's a hard life for Warhammer people. But look at the battlefield, guys. Just look at the carnage that went on here. Just dead bodies all over the place over here, all over on the Lizardmen side. Just all throughout. Just dead bodies everywhere. This is kind of how you want free-for-alls to go. Is just everybody gets in there. Everybody just tears up at each other. Usually you'll have one guy sit back, and that's never fun. But okay, this is what I was talking about. Look at this Lothern Seaguard just stab this dude. Now, to be fair, this Bleak Sword has taken the stabbing pretty well, but this Lothern Seaguard is just absolutely just on the offensive. He is just crazy. He's got to be on some of that warp stone. Got a little too close to it during the Skaven engagement. But no, for real though, he is. Lothern Seaguard do have a very fast attack animation with their shield bash and with their kind of stab. These are really not giving this Bleak Sword any time to move or attack. Bleak Sword's going to get a little attack in. It's going to kind of look clumsy, though. And then the High Elf is just going to go right back to wailing on him. And, yeah, this is a hard knock life. It looks like most of these High Elves are actually kind of just static. This dude right here is not even fighting. My Elves are wavering. They're going to lose another out of the total number that they do have, and it's just looking bad. It's about to end, guys. It's almost over. The Bleak Sword over here. Oh, look, he's turning the table on him, and as soon as he starts wailing on him and stunlocking the Lothern Seaguard, who's been just beating the hell out of him this whole time, they rout. They're over with. They're like, yeah, okay, we're gonna leave while we're ahead. But that's gonna be the game, guys. Go ahead and take a look at the kills. Got a lot of kills for Yurk Lothbrok's army. I'm sure he got a lot of kills with those Cav units and those Arch units. Gojira got a lot of kills, I'm sure, with his Stegodons, or his Engine of the Gods. I got a bunch of kills over here. They were mostly, I believe, centered in my Black Guard of Nagron and my Dark Shard. You can take a look over here at my Cold One Knights. 268 kills for my Cold One Knights, 103 for Dark Shards, 227, 187, and 310 for my Dark Shards. That 310 of the Dark Shard unit is incredible. They had to have just used all their ammo, and that's a lot of kills for a Dark Shard unit. Black Guard of Nagron also getting 310 is really good. As we scroll down, you see some other pretty high numbers, 103 and 108 for my Bleak Sword unit, 227 for my Dark Riders. I'm sure those were the ones that started to charge into combat, but even the other ones, 119 and 126. Now, those may have been a lot of skinks and a lot of kind of lower tier units, but it's still, that's a lot of kills for a unit. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed this battle. We are coming up to 1,000 subs really close, so if you guys have any ideas for maybe a special kind of video or maybe a special type of battle, please let me hear your guys' suggestions in the comments below. And anyway, guys, I hope you all liked it, and I will see you guys very soon. Until next time, I'm your humble host, Stan, and I'll see y'all later.